Welcome everybody to Bar of DeMOCKracy. Easily one of the most random internet shows you'll come across. That's MOCK. And it's Friday night. We're doing it right. Typically we have 3 topics, and typically we have an unknown guest, but tonight's a very, very special occasion. We're going to be doing a panel night with the one and only Peter Navarro's arch nemesis. I'm talking about the one, the only Anarchy Princess.
Hi. Yeah, hi everyone. I'm so excited to be here. Got my wine because it's a shit show. So cheers. Cheers to democracy.
Cheers, everyone.
And the Dive Bar show.
Oh yeah.
And the friends we made along the way.
Well, welcome. If there was one show, I'd say that we definitely looking forward to being able to let you just completely cut the fuck loose on, and I suppose tell us about some of the crazy shit that you've encountered out there. This would be the one.
Oh my god. Yeah. So I mean I don't even give interviews to the media, right? Because there's no way to talk about this shit because it is so weird and it sounds so crazy. But you guys, you understand, right? Like you've seen all of it for a long time.
Yeah.
My favorite thing that's happening right now is Laura Loomer and Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's hilarious. But Marjorie Taylor Greene has a boyfriend, Brian Glenn, that Laura Loomer is also attacking. And I ran into Brian at the debate in Philadelphia, and I see him all the time. I see him in DC constantly. I saw him when Steve Bannon turned himself in. Like I see him all over the place. So he's very familiar with me. So we had quite an interaction. You know, he was checking me out like when I approached him, I was like, he noticed me right away, and we were blowing kisses back and forth to each other. Okay, this is the sick people and how I have to deal with them, right? So he was aware I was there. So I turn around to set my bag down to get my stuff out, to get ready, and he was like cocking his head all the way to the side across the field, looking at my ass and like doing weird shit like this.
Oh,
so
no.
as soon as he went on live, I got on my megaphone and I just started talking all kinds of shit to him. But I kept talking about how he was a pervert and he was going to cheat on Marge. He was looking at my butt, and then Laura Loomer starts talking about these people. And so that it's just hilarious to me. But, there was a lot of weird shit that happened there. I saw Steve Bannon turn himself in, and that was also weird. And all these people are just nuts, and you guys are aware, right? But I don't think that Trump obviously is going to win, and I don't think he's as popular as they lead us to believe, because every single one of his supporters that I see out, I don't even think they vote. Honestly, I swear to God, these people are idiots, and a lot of them are felons. So
laziness is an inherent trait of the modern conservative. They won't go out and vote, but they'll bitch all day long that it was rigged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. Patriot Front.
Yeah.
So I ran into them a few times, and I've talked to them, and I've talked to their leader or whatever, Thomas Russo, the guy who just was in jail recently for, having the torches at Charlottesville. Anyway, they don't vote. Patriot Front as a group, they don't vote. So interesting. I don't even really know exactly what their freaking message is, but that's what he told me, is that they don't vote. So these people that they think are advocating for Trump aren't actually going to do anything at the polls. All of this.
I want to caveat off of that and note and point out that part of my personal life, on my job, requires me to go out in town and drive around and go to people's houses and what kind of work. And I see religious people walking house to house, door knockers and everything like that, and I ask them, are they going to vote? and they always say no.
Yeah.
And it's just
Wow, really?
mind-boggling. Like, yes.
So crazy.
Or they'll refuse to talk about it. And that's just as bad.
And they probably vote.
Yeah.
They probably just don't want to tell you. Or something.
Didn't Trump do some type of call, some like Zoom call or something with, I don't even know, like some churchy group, some national prayer group or something, and there was like 70 people in there?
It was the pre-debate call, and it wasn't there like some crazy Christo-fascist preacher who was all like, "We're gonna pray to bind the lips of the deceiver." How'd that work out for you? How'd that work out?
Sounds awfully like that.
The family's just very crap.
That's the pastor who said that she bewitched Trump. Like he says Kamala Harris is a witch.
Lenny Walnut.
It's Friday the 13th.
Lance Warnell.
It is
witchcraft.
I swear, I was watching
Greg Locke's far too parabolic in his imagery when he speaks.
Yeah.
There's a demon.
Demons.
He's
they always think I'm a demon.
With Laura Loomer. Yeah, with Laura Loomer hanging around. I'm surprised they're not like, he's being tempted by some Jezebel. I was dying, Anarchy Princess, every time I was watching your video, and every time you yelled, "Brian!" I laughed that much harder. Like, every time. By the end of it, I was wiping my tears away.
That's my, like, go-to with him. Every time I see him, I'm like, Brian! And someone commented on my Twitter, and they were like, "My name is Brian. Can I have that as my ringtone?" And I was like,
we're probably going to make it a soundboard sample.
Brian!
He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy.
He is a very naughty boy.
No, I was on Capitol Hill one time. I don't even remember what was going on, but I wandered off like behind so there's the Capitol, and then there's other buildings like the Cannon building and the Rayburn and stuff. So behind them is a park, and a lot of people bring their dogs in there. I guess people that work at the Capitol have dogs with them at work. I'm not sure, because they're always like in suits and stuff with their dogs. But I was sitting in there, and I look across, there's like a fountain, and behind the fountain, you know what I see? I see bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Like, you can
Oh no.
that was God. Or Jasmine Crockett said it. But, like, Marge stands out like a, yo, Tony Michaels is here. What's up?
Hey, Tony.
Tony in the house.
He heard Room 6 and he came running.
The roof is on fire.
Yeah. But she stands out like a sore thumb because, like, she's like Georgia, like, you know, in DC, and just tacky. And so I'm looking, and then I see she's with fucking Brian Glenn, and they're literally like feeling each other up, like smoking cigarettes. And, like, yeah.
Well, I smoke cigarettes, but I don't want to see anybody rubbing on Marge.
Yeah. Yeah.
You think you think that's why Marge is mad because he's rubbing up on Looney Laura?
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, she's jealous about Trump and Loomer. That's why she's saying that shit, for sure. But I'm just trying to poke the fire to their boyfriends.
Then they're fighting over nasty Trump. God.
And I find it amazing. I find it amazing that two of the biggest racists are calling each other racist. like seriously.
And the funny thing is you know that like, Marjorie Taylor Greene is trolling when she's like, she just doesn't represent what our party stands for. Like she knows that she's trolling her.
Yeah. God.
Well, Laura claims to have video of Marge saying the N-word. That was in one of her tweets.
Yeah, I saw that.
I want her to drop that video.
They should go out in front of the Capitol and fight about it.
Spicy.
Loomer put out a tweet, and it was like that she would give all the information to anyone, even like the aunt. So I was Laura Loomer has me blocked, but I was
She
considered
follows me.
Is that Tony?
Tony, get the
Yeah,
files.
she
Yeah, I
follows
saw
me.
that.
Should I DM her? See if she'll send me the.
DM her. See what happens.
You do
Oh
that.
boy,
Do it.
let's go.
I'll totally.
Do it.
Hold on, I might need another couple of pups for this.
So some people are saying that Laura Loomer might have a baby bump.
Oh no, gross! Ew!
Who the daddy? Who the daddy?
Ew! What do you think?
I was always wondering
It's
how the
true.
Antichrist
I'm not
would be
saying it's
born.
true. I'm just saying. I'm saying that people are
You just
saying.
heard it, and people are saying.
People
that.
are saying.
So-
People are
Oh,
saying.
no. This
People are.
procreating
Gross.
hell. No.
I cannot believe.
Can I be a Debbie Downer though? Can I be a Debbie Downer for
Yeah,
1
go
second?
ahead.
So I'm not positive. I'm pretty sure the photo of her in the purple dress is old because she looks anorexic these days. And I think I remember seeing that photo before, and it's the same. It may just be the same dress, but she was like with Trump a while back, and they were sitting at a table, and she took a selfie, and it's that same dress. So I kind of think that photo is old, and she does look pregnant there, but maybe it's new. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the last few times I've seen her, she looks.
But if she was pregnant,
Like
but she doesn't have any
she-
other kids, that means
Maybe she
Did you
aborted.
get an abortion? Oh no.
Yeah.
AP, you just opened up a whole can of worms. You're not a Debbie Downer.
This is
You're a
interesting.
Investigate
Your
journal.
inspiration.
you're a tinfoil hat maker. Like you're folding the hat up just perfect for everyone to
Origami.
wear. Right, exactly.
Tinfoil or
Yeah.
origami. I like
Yeah.
it.
Preserve that dress.
What is it? What do they call that? They called origamist? Is that what they are?
Tony.
Origami.
Jesse in the chat says Loomer follows you on her little tricycle.
Oh, really? Is that what it is? Might be. I don't know. I've never had any interaction with her. I think one time. I think maybe the reason why she follows me is one time she said some shit that was true. You know, a fucking broken clock is right twice a day. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But she said some shit one time that was true. Like, I'm like, yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Laura Loomer is a racist. So I'm like agreeing with her, right? But I said, I tweeted something like, I quote tweeted one of her posts that told the truth for the one fucking time she posted the truth. And then like a couple days later, she follows me. I'm like, what the fuck? And I even took a screenshot of where she followed me, and I said, make it stop. Like I didn't. Like I actually don't want you to follow me. And I just found out today that libs of TikTok blocked me. I'm not really sure why they blocked me.
Yeah, I saw
Fucking
that. I
pussies.
watched it go.
Wear that as a
Yeah.
badge of honor.
Yeah,
That
mhm.
girl is crazy.
Yeah.
That girl is
We'll talk-
nuts. She is
Yeah.
freaking nuts.
Which one are we talking about here?
I was gonna
Because
say,
we
yeah,
got a
they're
whole
both fucking
fucking
sack
Liz,
of ham
libs
labs.
here that
the
we're.
chick from Libs of TikTok.
What's her name? Shia or something?
Shia Ranchik.
Yeah, she's
Sanchez?
raunchy. She's raunchy.
That's
Is that her last
She
name?
was at
Raunchy?
January 6th. She was at the Capitol on Capitol grounds on
Mhm.
January 6th.
Mhm.
She
Yeah.
didn't come into the
Go
building.
figure.
So she was on Capitol grounds, and that's like 4 charges at least. So
Yeah, it checks
I'm
out.
wondering when she'll get picked up, because a lot of them are still getting picked up. Like,
Do you think some of these people, AP, because you're kind of right there at the heart of some of it. Do you think some of these people are actually like half fed? And by half fed, I mean like Mike Flynn. I have a suspicion that Mike Flynn is an informant for like the CIA, but he's also like cashing in, right? Because a lot of criminal informants are like that. Like they are informants, but they're also not informants. They're double agents, as it might be called.
Yep.
We see that because I don't know. I don't know if there's evidence pointing to it, but I mean, these guys are out there like Ivan, your best friend Ivan. This guy is a fucking wackadoo. This guy's posting on fucking Twitter that he's going to get retribution, and he's talking about retribution about elected officials. Like this is not a game where he's mad at a clerk at a fucking Starbucks or some shit, and he's feuding with them on social media. He's casting not even thin veiled threats against elected officials and other people surrounding elected officials
against Trump. He was
Right.
talking about like murdering Trump with Alex Jones.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts, man. So I mean, you know, what level of protection do people like that have? That's my question, right? And by level of protection, I mean, you know, maybe they are or have been in the past, and the government knows that, you know, these are bad actors and they're embedded in these circles of other bad actors that they want information on. So how much is the government willing to put up with this nonsense to keep them in their circle and keep the information flowing when they need it? You know, I don't know. It's just a thought, and I don't know that there's any proof of it. I feel like sometimes we're yelling and screaming about people being traitors that are like, oh, the feds, fuck the feds, fuck the feds. Well, there's one reason why to say the fuck the feds is to get the public off the scent that you're actually one of them. Like, I don't know.
I don't think you're wrong. Like, I bet some of them are.
They're definitely okay. I don't know about Mike Flynn, but definitely lower than that. Like the participants of January 6th, if you want to say like Fed, a lot of them are criminals prior to January 6th. So like, you know, when you become a what is it, CSA, confidential human source, you know, like with the cops like literally are like, you need to go make this drug deal and we'll make your other charges go away or whatever. So I definitely think some of the like lower participants, like Proud Boys and stuff like that, definitely went and took information from their friends and their fellow Proud Boys and their fellow MAGA people to keep themselves out of jail. And then you get up higher, money makes everyone talk, and these people, these men, these white men, have this power thing. They have like freaking Hitler, right? Had like mental illness where he like needed to be in control of everything. And that's exactly how Trump is, and the people under him, like Flynn and Roger Stone and like Lindell, like they need this power and control. And then when you add money to it, like they just have they stand for nothing. They have no spine, so they can be bribed easily, even if they don't know that they're being bribed. But also millions and millions of Americans are undiagnosed schizophrenics. So I think these people are fucking nuts. I think a lot of them are fucking schizophrenics or some other fucking mental disorder, and they have power and they have money and they are easily influenced and they're just fucking puppets. And maybe in some way they're a Fed, but I don't know that they're like the CIA was like, hey, Mike Flynn, I need you to be Q and make QAnon and get all of these psycho schizophrenic lower level people to go, you know, overthrow the government so that we can arrest them.
No, you know, and again, that's where I think, you know, where did it stop and where did it? Because he was obviously intelligence at one point. So this guy's got the inroads to be, you know, an informant because he was actually a federal, you know, asset, as in he was in a military and he was in command of intelligence operations. So like he was actually doing it. But it does remind me, you said Roger Stone. I wonder if Roger Stone's mad. I wonder if Roger Stone's mad that Trump's fucking Loomer and not him. I don't know. No, I'm serious. What? I mean,
I just want to say, Tony. That was the one name. That was the one name I wanted to bring up in that whole lot.
Yeah.
So he already has a Nixon tattoo. Now he's going to have Trump ink on his back.
No.
Like a back, like he takes a back shot and then he traces it in. Is that what he?
Left cheek, right?
I'm
and
sorry.
That's how you make
bar.
America great again.
Yeah. Ooh.
Ain't that the truth?
Oh, yeah.
I definitely think Roger Stone owns some sort of leather type sex equipment, don't you think?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
100%.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, well, remember when
There's
he got
no way
busted?
he didn't have like a Rubbermaid tub full of shit.
Oh,
you know
dude,
what I
he
mean?
got busted. Like, he had like personal ads in the swinger magazines and stuff. Like, so you know he had like all the shady gear.
He was a regular
Not
down
that I'm
at the
saying
island.
there's anything wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having the leather stuff if that's what you're into.
Maybe he visited the same
not
shop that Mark
shaming.
Robinson visited all the time.
Can you imagine him
I'll
doing
one
that
up.
dance? That dance that he did in that video, in like fucking leather.
Wherever he lived, like whatever city he lived in like the 80s and 90s or something, people need to go like investigate and find a source that knows him because they probably have some disgusting dirt on him.
Oh, totally.
Totally.
Neighbors.
Probably
Now
West
he probably
Hollywood.
can't get it up. But
I actually
Get up,
don't think he
neighbors.
would be phased by any of it. Like he wouldn't be phased at all because these people are like totally
have no shame.
shameless. No, right.
shame.
Right. He would like be tweeting
Shamelessness.
about it
Forgive
and
them.
bragging about it once it was out in the open.
There's
Like, and that's the thing about the video of Marjorie Taylor Greene saying the N-word. Wouldn't phase them a bit. Wouldn't phase her support. Wouldn't phase
probably
anyone.
get money for it.
Probably.
Yeah, she'd rise off that.
I don't know. As far as like both Roger Stone and Trump and Reagan and Murdoch, they all fail my simple litmus test, and that's were you friends with Roy Cohn?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a fair test.
Anyone think this
Definitely.
movie's gonna happen?
Oh,
Why would
the
it not?
Apprentice movie? I don't
Yeah.
see why it wouldn't. I mean, it's already debuted overseas, and they tried suing, saying that you can't release this movie, and he was like, "Okay, we'll see you in court, motherfucker."
Well, I think the
last thing I
distribution was
wanna
kind of nixed, wasn't it? And so they're looking for private distribution, right?
Yeah, someone in our family knows a little bit more about that.
Yeah, who?
Family.
Oh,
Family knows a bit more about that.
I will.
really?
I will invite her. Yeah, that's.
Welcome
Yeah,
to
she
Dive
works at-
Bar,
Oh,
family.
shit. Sorry, I'm muted.
Hey.
Hi guys. So I don't want to disclose the company I work for because NDA stuff, but yes, I work for the company who is distributing the feature. And we already have screenings, select screenings that are now going in LA screening rooms. And this means that the press and trade are about ready to view this feature. They haven't put a stop to it at all. So, yeah, that's all that I really know. I work in film distribution, so that's what
Well, I know Tizzy. I follow Tizzy. I think he follows me on a few platforms, so his stuff kind of pops up in my feed a lot. And of course he's got millions of followers and gets millions of views, so that might be the other reason. But he was there was some sort of crowdsourcing to get the private distribution of some of it because a lot of theaters weren't going to try to take it or something, or I'm not really sure.
It's
I didn't
just
follow
a
them.
contract with the theaters, like the major chains. But I would probably gather that they're going to have select screenings. Basically, what a platform release is that it opens up in like the major markets like LA, New York, Miami, Chicago is a part of that market, Seattle, basically all the four corners, and then Dallas and Denver are like right there too. So all the major markets, that's a platform release, and then it goes nationwide. So then, like, if it's a platform release, it'll release 1 week prior to the nationwide release. So that's basically what I do.
Do you know the date that it's going to drop in some of these places? Because I don't think if they drop it in like LA and Chicago and New York and Miami and Seattle, like that's going to make a huge difference, right? Like that's not going to. I mean,
I know
maybe
it's before the election. I can't recall dates.
I'm seeing a lot of October 11th in the chat.
Yeah, I think around that time. That sounds about right. They know that they want to get this out before the election.
Yep, definitely.
That'll
but again, I don't know exactly what time window, but it's definitely on a few bookings that I've seen in my records. So
Gotcha.
I don't know exactly if it's going to be completely nationwide. Again, the select markets, and then like the sub major markets, like say St. Louis, or like the smaller cities that are like 150,000 or more, I think. So
Right.
I know there's that one.
Well,
can be in your neighborhood.
I don't actually believe that a movie like that is going to sway actual voters, because it is based on a true story, and I'm gonna withhold my opinion of some of the clips in the trailer that I've seen, because I don't want to I don't want to give away what my thoughts are so far about it until I actually see it, because I want to see it as a whole before I give any kind of
is
opinion about
making
it.
the movie? Like, is it?
It's already made.
Trump?
It's no. Trump sued to stop it.
Oh, okay. I get it. All right.
They debuted it at an independent film festival. Was it Sundance? Farmley, do you know? Was it Sundance, or was it Cannes? Okay, yeah,
it was Cannes. It was the Cannes Film Festival.
Yeah, and he tried to sue to get it to stop there, and they were like, "No, you can't fucking do that shit," or something. I forget the court case. Again, if we mire ourselves in this where we follow around Donald Trump's legal issues, good God, it's just a soap opera that you don't even want to handle. But
you wanna?
No.
You want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
Obviously I'm a librarian, if anybody doesn't know that by my name. So I was researching something about Trump, and I went into Pacer, which is like a legal database for federal cases. And so I don't know what possessed me to do this. I just put Trump as a keyword search, and there were literally 20,000 documents of just
I was going to say
Trump cases.
I was going to
just federal cases. Then these are federal cases,
and it's probably mostly initiated by him, to be perfectly honest.
I don't, I didn't look, but there were 20,000 documents. All were Trump, because I looked through the pages. I was like, dear God.
So yeah, he's been involved in 3,500 lawsuits so far in his life. So,
he's a legal fucking terrorist. Roy Cohn taught him to be one because his dad taught him to be one. The thing that's really the thing about that film is going to have that one really damning scene, and then when people look at Anarchy Princess poster that she was rocking in her last video that says Trump is a rapist, and they say, well, what do you mean? You can say, I saw it on the television.
Yeah,
it's got to be true.
I saw it on the TV. It's on the TV. I'm telling you, it's on the TV. It's on the TV. It's not on the radio. The radio is old. It was on the TV. I don't listen to the radio anymore. I only watch TV.
It was on the television, David.
Who's a distribution company on The Apprentice. Since the information is public, I can say who it is. It's Briarcliff Entertainment for the United States. And they are a part of our indie circuit.
Shout out to them. Shout out.
Can I shamelessly plug, since Farmley, I would like to, if you could add me as a friend on Discord or whatever. My friend Noelle Cook is a filmmaker, and she has it's called Conspiracist, and she just shopped it out to Sundance just literally the other day. But she follows this woman who was at January 6th, and the woman is too into all the conspiracies, and she follows the woman. She goes to all these places, and they end up in DC, and that is where I meet Noelle for the first time, because there's this Freedom Corner where all the MAGA J6ers hang out outside of the jail. Anyway, freaking George Santos was there one night, which was so weird. I just showed up, and I was like, what the fuck? George Santos is here, and I started talking shit to him. And Noelle was there. I didn't know her at the time, but it was part of her film. So I am in her film. I'm in in the credits even. So she's trying to get it out there. So like maybe you could give me some pointers to give to her. So, but anyway, sorry. Thank you.
Now, is this what kind of film is this? This is a political film, or is it one of the other kind of films, Anarchy Princess? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Laura Loomer is not
one
in
of the movies you find in your uncle's top
so
drawer.
This isn't like the pregnancy documentary for Laura Loomer.
No,
oh, okay.
No, it's a documentary.
Reveal party.
I want to make sure.
Yeah, it's basically like the women of MAGA. She does a lot of this. She talks to a lot of MAGA women, a lot of January 6th women, a lot of conspiracy theorist women, sovereign citizens, all of that. But this one particular woman, I can't even think of her name now, but she's just like all over the place. So there's a lot of things going on, it's content. And so Noelle followed her like across the country as she went to all these like weird places, and she ended up at Freedom Corner in DC where I was.
A weird space where you tend to hang out to watch all the weirdos. You were actually on the show one time. Remember the Trucker Convoy that went down to was it like a Christian compound or some shit down in Texas? They claim they were on the border, and they're like, I don't know, 2 hours from the border, some stupid
Convoy.
shit.
Yeah, the Border Convoy. They're doing another one actually.
Really?
And yeah, so September. Just let me say one more time. That was Noelle Cook, and it was the Conspiracist. That was the film.
Okay.
Anyway, so
Gotcha.
yeah. So someone just asked real quick, but so there's this thing September 29th, and it's part of this anti-war rally that they had a couple years ago, which is basically like Nazis, and it's not really anti-war. But anyway, they're having it again this year, and it's different people. But RFK Jr. is involved, and a bunch of other fucking weirdos. But 2 days before that, because that's on the 29th in DC, this Take Our Border Back convoy is starting again. Last time they went to like Texas and to California and to Arizona. This time they're starting in New York, and half of them will go to Canada, to the border, to I don't know what their plan is, but the other group is coming to DC to RFK Jr.'s little Nazi rally. But there's just like live streamers that are just hanging around the border, just like filming vulnerable people like at the worst times of their life and monetizing all of it. And that it's like porn to these people. So like it gets up on freaking, what do you call it, X-Chan, right? And
yeah, that's what I call it, Twitter. So on the RFK point, have you ever run into Bobby Brainworms? Have you ever run into him by chance?
I don't think I have ever seen him. No,
because he used to like do like rallies and stuff, especially like during COVID. He would go to Washington. He would do some crazy, shit during the pandemic in Washington. I didn't know if you ever ran into Bobby Brainworms or not.
So I didn't really start doing any of this until it was the summer of rage. It was when when they took Roe v. Wade away, and then I was just fuck everyone. And it was the same time that one convoy was coming through DC, and I just went to DC. I was living in Virginia at the time, and just like started yelling at all of them. And now I go behind Peter and but yeah, I've never seen him. So I kind of plan to be at the little Nazi rally thing that he's having on September 29th. I'm not 100% sure I'll be there, but maybe I'll run into him. I don't know.
Good. Get him.
Yeah, get him. I don't know if Tulsi Gabbard is going to be there or whatever.
Really?
Maybe I'll be able to. Yeah.
Ooh, that would be a good one.
Yeah.
If you and Robbie Roadsteamer ever got in the same area.
Yes, I love him. And are you following Rod Weber too?
Yeah, I follow Rod follows me. I follow him, and we've had a little bit of interaction.
He just got arrested yesterday because of fucking Hulk Hogan. Yeah.
That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah. He messaged me and I said, first of all, are you okay? Second, fucking epic. But he went like Hulk Hogan is having this. He has a beer now. Like anti
Oh
Bud
yeah,
Light beer thing.
featured it. I featured it on the show. It's called like is it Real
Yeah,
American Beer
Real
or some shit like that?
American
yeah,
beer.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like on a promotional tour, like going to supermarkets, like in probably sundown towns. I don't know, but he's been in Massachusetts for a couple of days, and so Robbie Road Steamer and also Rod Weber both like went at him in different ways, and Rod Weber got, first of all, the first day he got attacked. Well, he's done it like 3 times. So the first time, like nothing really, they just like talked shit or whatever. But the second time, which was like yesterday, the day before, Hulk Hogan's like goon squad attacked him, like physically assaulted him, and he had to go to the hospital. And they also stole his phone, and the video that he had made of Hulk, like talking shit to Hulk, they deleted it, but like the cops were able to get his
The
phone back, I
fuck?
guess, or something. Yeah, they stole his fucking phone. Hulk Hogan's like security or whatever, and tried to delete the video, but it was still in the trash, so he was able to recover it. So he went to the hospital, he was in the ER, and then he went back the next day, like, yes, like fuck those guys. And he went to some other fucking supermarket, and there was like 2 events that day, I think. He went to the one event, and then when he went to the second event, the police, some other guy like walked up and pushed him into a car and snapped his sign in half, and Rod got arrested, and like he was held like all night. And so he had to go to court today on Friday the 13th in Salem, Massachusetts. So
That's
like,
crazy. Well, Robbie put out a video. I retweeted it. Robbie put out a video where because he dressed up as a bear, I think.
As a
they
bear,
were
yeah.
he's calling him a furry because they would recognize who he was. So he had to dress up in a costume, and of course it's like inside of a gas station. This guy's going gas station to gas station grifting beer.
Yes.
But anyways, so he gets close to Hulk, and they realize who he is at that point once he starts doing his shtick under the bear costume, and Robbie goes to like a Starbucks nearby, and one of Hulk's guys follows him to the fucking Starbucks and is trying to intimidate him. And the Starbucks employee's like, "Get the fuck out of here, man!"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, you're gonna kick him out? You're gonna kick me out of here? Like you kicked him out of the gas station because he got close to Hulk, and you think Starbucks ain't gonna kick you out? Get the fuck out of here with this shit."
Yeah. They do the same shit, but they like get physical. Like Robbie went to a public event, and so when Hulk isn't just promoting a beer, like he is doing a political thing, right? So there's a First Amendment law there, so he has to allow protesters. So Robbie and Rod are well within their rights to protest, and even if they are like at this freaking grocery store where the manager came out and he's like, "I'm the manager," like you have to trespass him, and then he leaves, right? And if he doesn't leave, then he can be arrested. But like you can't arrest someone for disorderly conduct for their First Amendment, which is what they're doing. And then Hulk Hogan's people are assaulting and fucking stalking people. Like the protest is over, Robbie did his thing, and then he goes to Starbucks and you follow him. That's completely different than what he was doing at a public First Amendment, event.
You think Hulk is regretting that he whored himself out to MAGA to try to help Trump? At this point, do you think he's like, "Fuck, I should have never done that"?
He realizes that he's going to be the target of being trolled forever. I mean, he's putting out a beer called Real American Beer. I'm pretty sure when you open it and it goes, tss, it just calls you an epithet.
Usually these people double down on it, right? Like, these people, like I would assume Hulk would probably, but he kind of hid under a rock after he like fucked that dude's wife, and like after he said the N-word, and he tends to like, I think maybe disappear for a little while when he fucks up. But if not, he keeps fucking with my friends and like literally putting hands and stalking them. I went and I don't even use Instagram, but now I have Instagram so I can follow Real American Beer or whatever the fuck. Because the next time that motherfucker shows up to hawk his fucking beer is on 7-Eleven and I can get there, I'm going to show up. So you should just go back into the fucking hole.
Anarchy, I got a good question, and it goes on along with you getting Meta or Instagram, because once you have one of them, you might as well be on all three because they all tie in there. It's all the same system kind of thing. I paid Elon money because I got a blue for no good reason, rather than just tagging and commenting on the Chud posts all day, because it puts you at the top of the list and it gets response, and it just triggers them all day.
Yeah. I have this thing about like paying the Russians, and that's what I feel like giving Elon money is. But it really fucking pisses me off that I can't post a video longer than 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So
give them to me and I'll post them because I got a blue check. And let me tell you something. I am a Russian operative then because I am now taking Elon's money. That's the nice part about my blue check is I paid $84, and I think this year so far Elon's paid me. I think it's about $500 or something like that, and I paid $84. So it's a pretty good investment. So I got like 420 some odd dollars of Putin's rubles. So
are you gonna donate that to the DNC, Tony?
No, I'm gonna go buy drugs with it. Is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna buy drugs with it. The fuck are you talking about, man? I'm donating that shit. I'm gonna go buy drugs and get stoned.
There's just nothing quite like sticking it to him by using his money to make him, pay for his opponent.
Yeah, like at this point, it doesn't matter. Like, there's people like on the left that are like, don't platform them, don't share their posts because they get money. And I'm like, you know what? Like, your money's gonna get taken anyway, eventually. So, like, I don't fucking care. And also, I want you all to go over there and to talk shit to them so they know they're not welcome. Because
so let me ask you real quick about this blue check thing. Because here's my theory on it. Because because you've done a lot of counter protesting. Like of all the people in this room, you probably have done the most. And if you're going to counter protest like neo-Nazis, right, you wouldn't go to a different space that they're in, right? You would go right as close as you could get. You would hold your sign and blow your whistle and ring your cowbell as close as you could get to those people as physically possible, right? So like that's the idea. Like that's the. So I don't want to leave Twitter because there are neo-Nazis. Like I want to stay there to protest in that space to show people that, hey, we're not scared of these motherfuckers. We're not going to run away from them. We're not going to shy away from, speaking out and ringing our cowbell and blowing our whistle, like that's the whole point is to protest them right in their face. That's why it's so important. Like Robbie and Rod, even though, they kind of, Hulk's bodyguards kind of trying to muscle them and take their phone, which it seems illegal as fuck.
Coming back.
Right.
Yeah.
They keep coming back. They keep challenging them. And maybe Hulk Hogan will question some of, these spots that they're having, promoting this beer, and maybe he'll start to question. Maybe he'll stop doing some of these events because he's scared that these people are going to protest and get in his face. And that's the point. Like with Twitter, and I know a lot of them are bots. A lot of them aren't real. I believe there's a lot of fuckery at foot with Elon. Basically platforming some of these quote unquote right wing influencers, because I don't actually believe that a lot of these people would have the followings they would have if Elon didn't own this platform. And I am saying that some of them are bots, and I am saying that Elon 100% makes, rigs it up to where these accounts follow these influencers. He's boosting not only the certain accounts, but he's boosting their followings too. Because Elon can probably tell what's a real account and what's not. I mean, isn't that what the blue check is about anyways, to verify that someone, has financial information, and that the cause. So I don't know. I just feel like if I'm going to, protest online, I want to go and protest where the neo-Nazis are and protest against them out in the open.
Yeah. And that's a good point, because I remember you saying a while back, so I got banned on Twitter like forever ago. And then when the Peter Navarro thing happened, that's when everyone on Twitter started talking about it. So I was like, let me try to make an account again. Because usually like I would make one and it would be like banned in like 5 minutes. But for some reason that account stayed up. And so the whole Navarro thing happened. Everybody was, I got a ton of followers, but like there's just like so much negative fucking shit. And I was like, I don't want to be on here. And then you said something about like what you just said, about not leaving, like staying on there and like fighting the misinformation. And I was like, you know what? He's fucking right. So that's why I stayed there, and that's why I continue not only just like post there, but in general, what I do, I'm not just protesting. I'm trying to like counter their
Right.
misinformation,
Right.
and I've gotten, you know, more honed in on how I do it. Like when I was talking to Marge's boyfriend Brian Glenn, he was live on his little stupid Real America's whatever the lie channel he was on. And there's a million other media out there that I could have fucked with if that's what I wanted to do, but it's him lying. Like Jack Posobiec was out there earlier lying. So like I have to not that these people are necessarily going to change their mind about voting for Trump, like, but I'm trying. I'm
It's the
trying
imagery, though.
to
It's the
let
imagery
everyone
of
know.
that
Yeah,
discourse, right? It's the imagery of that
yeah.
discourse, and I think if we walk away from the discourse, then they kind of have a pseudo win, right? It's not really a win, but it's pseudo in that they can claim it's a win, and they won and they took over Twitter. But if we stay and we still fight their ridiculous definition of freedom of speech, then at some point we're not giving them as much ground as they want, and because giving them what they want is has way more consequences than just staying in the fight and holding up your sign right behind Peter Navarro, even though they're calling you a commie and saying you're the thing that's wrong and ringing your fucking cowbell and blowing your whistle. That's what I love about you, is you give so many people inspiration in real life to do it online too. And it's important that everyone gets in there where they
That's
can.
why I do it. Yeah. I don't do this like for views because I want to be famous. Like I stayed off of social media. I had like a Facebook back in the day, which I've now deleted because there's so many freaking psychos out there. Like if you have Facebook and you do this, like you need to get rid of it. Okay. But anyway, I didn't want my face out there. I don't want to be on camera, but like they took away the rights to my body. And like that was just the last fucking straw. And voting, all this other bullshit was getting us absolutely fucking nowhere. So I was like, I'm just gonna go out and fucking yell at these fucking assholes. And it's now like started like a small movement. There's other people that like I'm weird and I'm crazy and I've got like a weird background and all kinds of issues, and like this I haven't always been Anarchy Princess. This is not something that I ever expected my life to be like. And it's inspiring other people to get up out of their house, to go out, to hold up their signs, to call out these people's bullshit. And like you said, like those guys think they're always winning, right? Like, oh, we did this, we're so amazing. But when you humiliate them and you make them feel uncomfortable and not welcome, it just starts like cutting them down to hopefully eventually it will all of us will just be mocking them. And they'll just go away. They will all just disappear. No one will be voting for these people. They will have no power. They will have no money. Everyone will be stop being afraid of them. Like that is the number one thing. Like when I do this shit, people like I do appreciate it, but like they're constantly like, oh, be careful, it's unsafe, it's unsafe. Like I fucking know, but it shouldn't be unsafe. Like it should not be unsafe for me to go out and hold my fucking sign. But they use just like the little fucking crackheads that are standing out on the side with their flagpoles trying to penetrate me with them or whatever, all the way up to Trump, like in Giuliani, like what he did. Like they just intimidate us. So like stop being afraid and start speaking up, and you take that power back.
That's right. Speaking of that, so I'm gonna have to jump off here in a minute, but I appreciate you guys having this space and inviting me. And I'm glad that you came, AP. Yeah, I'm glad that you came and to talk about this. But I feel the same way about Rumble because I'm on Rumble now, and I want to report to you guys. So Rumble has monetized me, and I didn't realize it till today. Let me give you guys a report. Let me give you guys a report. So I'm getting paid on average $5.98 CPM. That's cost per mil. So that's every 1,000 views, I get $6. And my estimated earnings so far to date on Rumble is 61 cents. That's how much I've earned on Rumble. So Isn't that awesome? Yeah.
Yes.
So I got more
Plural
Nazi
money.
money to put towards weed.
Bright lights, big city with that.
So I don't know how long
That's
I'll
some
stay
walking
monetized
around
on
money.
Rumble. Right, exactly.
I'm gonna
But
take it now. Now that you
right,
said it, someone's gonna take it back. Oh,
but you know, I think you're right. Like you know, we have to all use our talents, and I try to say this all the time because we got to strategically engage with our outrage and our democracy, right? So whatever that strategy is, my strategy is pretty obvious. I make mine pretty obvious. But I think you make yours pretty obvious, but some people like to be more covert in their operations and using their talents. And there's nothing wrong with that, whether you're knocking doors or you're making phone calls for a phone bank for a Democratic campaign, or you're just simply writing postcards, or you're online just dropping memes and fucking with these assholes in comment section to distract them. You're like the matador with the bull. You're just distracting these motherfuckers so they're not out there saying more bigoted, racist shit towards other people. You know, it's kind of clowning them. So I appreciate all that. But I think one message I do want to say is that you got to check your registration. We got to be ready because the ultimate protest against these fucking fascists are to cast your ballot against MAGA and to stop Trump and to stop Trump's Project 2025, not just at the top of the ticket, but all the way down. So that's the best way to protest anything, because it's the only poll that matters at the end of the day, because that's the one that's going to be counted. That's the one that's going to be put on legal paper, and it's going to make sure that not just Kamala and Tim Walz are in certain offices that we want them to be in to promote democracy and to make sure democracy stands, but also who the Speaker of the House is, who the majority leader in the House, the governors, the senators, the congressmen in your district. So make sure you're checking your registration and get 3 people to check their registration. And if they're not registered, get them registered to vote too. So thanks y'all for having me. And AP, it's good to see you. Skip, Godfrey, Terp, Phony Tony, Mighty Librarian, and D were up here earlier. So
thanks for swinging by.
Thanks, Farmley, for coming up and give us an update. Yeah. Yep. So we'll see you guys later, and have a great weekend.
All right, buddy.
See you later.
Thanks, Tony.
Yep.
Cheers, Tony.
Exactly what he said. Make sure you check those registrations, because either you're gonna respect existence or you're gonna expect resistance, motherfuckers. And
exactly right.
So I suppose I have a question, and that's what made you decide the very first time when you were like, I'm gonna take my camera and I'm going to mock these motherfuckers in a way that they're not used to?
So, all right. So there was, it was called the People's Convoy, and it was this frickin' convoy that came through DC, and they were protesting COVID mandates, which were not even in effect anymore. Okay. And so a couple years before that, all the BLM protests had started happening because people's children were getting murdered by the police. Okay. So I have interracial children. I'm from upstate New York originally, central New York to be more specific. Like, they fly Confederate flags there. They live in trailer parks. It was Trump land before Trump. So I had moved to Virginia, and the BLM stuff started happening, and there were protests that were happening like in the roads, and there were truckers that were running through these protesters, like literally running over people. And people that I knew, like my family and old friends from upstate New York, most of them were farmers because it's real country where I'm from. At this point, I was living in Virginia. I had moved from New York to Virginia in 2014. And so these people are posting on Facebook, like, if you're out protesting, you have no job and you're on welfare. And if you're in the road, you're blocking us from feeding our families, from making money and going to work. Like, so yeah, we should be able to run you over. And so I'm like, you would murder people? Like, you're insane. So the trucker convoy happens in 2022, and they're protesting in the roads. And the same group of people that were posting on Facebook were like, yeah, this is so amazing. And I was like, okay, you're hypocrites. So I just was like, what is this? What is the convoy? And I Google it, and the first thing that comes up is a YouTube live stream. They were literally live streaming their freaking crimes. Okay. So I just watch it and watch it and watch it. And they drive all over the country doing dumb shit. Anyway, they end up in DC. And now I know a lot about this group. It's now a different group called the 1776 Restoration Movement. There's a bunch of pedophiles in the group. There's a bunch of criminals in the group. So I had done all this shit talking online, but now they're like in DC. They're parked on the National Mall because their leader, who was a Proud Boy, who goes by the name Santa, had gotten arrested. They had blocked the roads. The cops showed up, shook their hand, allowed them to do it, and I was like, "What the fuck?" 2 days later, though, their leader gets arrested, and it's like this big production. And so they have all their fucking trucks parked on the mall, which is like this big park in DC, and they're like, "We're occupying this until they release Santa." And they actually thought that Joe Biden had issued a statement to arrest Santa, like, which never happened. They're insane. So I was like, these guys, I'm going to go down there. And they're all like sitting in their lawn chairs. There's like a few dozen of them. And I sit down on a bench, and one of them comes over and like gives me this book on like COVID. I can't even remember what it's called. There was some doctor that wrote a book, and it was like that COVID was like population control. Okay, it was just fucking crazy shit. So he's like talking to me all this nonsense, and I'm just like, oh wow, really? Wow, wow, wow. Anyway, I walk up to one of the live streamers and I just like start going in. I'm like, you have this pedophile here. The pedophile runs away, like disappears. I wasn't like using social media. I wasn't live streaming or anything, but they were. So I'm just like talking all this shit, like calling them out for all these criminals that they have there and all this fucked up shit they're doing. And I thought I was the only person in the whole world that hated them because based on their live streams, like everyone supported them. So anyway, it got a lot of attention. People started like noticing me and asking about me on the internet. And so I came back a second time. I started recording it, and I eventually started live streaming. And it was awkward and weird to be on camera, but it got other people like standing up against them. And now like there's a huge following behind me for like that specific, like messing with the convoy and messing with the restoration group and the January 6ers. And they're just bringing a ton of awareness to all the fucked up shit that these people are doing, and that is.
Well, I think that there's just so many people that related to what you were doing because there was so many of us that just wish somebody was doing that. When you were standing there at the JD Vance rally, and all those people are surrounding you trying to give you shit, and you're like, freedom of speech, motherfucker, it doesn't just apply to you. And it's just so gorgeous to see it thrown back in their face.
They can't handle it.
And we all come from the same place here. Is we were all just hanging out in like the Tony Michaels YouTube broadcast in the chat room. We all jumped into the Discord, and now we're all here, and we're all like, we all agree. And if I can take the few minutes a day, when the time that I have, and create some what we call fuckery, and spread the word, and tell people it's okay. And if they're gonna come to my Facebook, if they're gonna come to my other things and look me up on other platforms, go ahead. Thanks for the awareness.
We appreciate the promotion.
Care enough to come find me. Yeah. And it on the other hand of that is, if you're going to come to my Facebook and attack me, I get to point that to the chuds on my Facebook that are part of my family, part of my Facebook friends, whatever the group that they're in, and going, look, this is your party that's doing this. Are you going to call them out? Or are you going to agree with this? Which one is it? Because it points out their hatred of everybody, of the white Christian nationalism, the Nazism, you name it. The Russian propaganda that straight up lies.
Yeah. They show their true colors, and more people need to see it. And really, like, they're constantly attacking me, like physically attacking me. And so now I used to do it by myself, and now I have other people with me, and I usually have someone with me, with a camera recording. And I'm always like, like whatever happens, do not intervene. Just keep the camera rolling because I want people to see. Like I am just, like a 130-pound female. I'm 5'5". I'm just holding my sign. Sometimes I'm yelling, but not even always. And these people will physically attack me, and I want the world to see that they are psychos. And this is what you want. This is what you want to run the country? No, absolutely not. Keep your fucking hands to yourself. And like, especially as women, like we we really need to be defending ourselves these days. And like, we can't have people like.
Yeah, it really worked because I was watching your newest video, and it was towards the end of it, the dude walking up and like pretending like he's gonna grab you, because you were talking about pussy grabbing. He's just like, like, dude, what the fuck?
And he also, I think it was the same guy.
There was a lot more that happened with that guy, but when they kept putting our flagpole in my face, and like, I don't know if you guys know this, but some man just got sentenced to 180 days in jail. It's suspended time, but he penetrated me with a flagpole. Okay, and so I've been hit with flagpoles multiple times. So like this guy kept trying to fuck me with his flagpole. But anyway, putting his flagpole in my face, so I grabbed it, and his flagpole hit the camera. So my camera went out. But there was like we were like nose to nose, and he was like saying all this like crazy violent shit. He was gonna grab me by the pussy, like he was gonna fuck me up, all of this shit. And so I don't have that on my video. I'm hoping maybe somebody caught it and it'll pop up eventually. But for nothing, these people are psycho.
Yeah, I noticed that because it hits the camera and then it goes to later.
Yeah.
You get them into a group and they think they're invincible. I mean, that's why this whole bullshit with Springfield that's happening too is because they're basically using this trope as a scapegoat in order to rile up white people that don't even live in Springfield that want to come there and start shit. And now, they're having to literally close city buildings and evacuate schools because of a literal lie that even JD Vance, who really propagated it, won't stand beside. You try to confront him on it and he immediately deflects.
Yeah, well then he's a couch fucker. So
it's a futon protection.
Use the glove.
Yeah.
Leave Delilah Davenport alone. All right.
One of our earliest.
Go ahead.
One of our earliest memes was from Russia with glove, and now it really ties in.
It really, it's like Inception at this point.
That one was mine. I love that one.
All right. Is there anybody who wants to come up and ask a question? Please go ahead and raise your hand in the chat.
Oh boy.
And while we wait for people to ask questions, I will shout out to everybody in the Twitch chat and Discord chat for hanging out. There's so many to know. We are blowing up today. So everybody, thanks for hanging out the entire show and before the show.
Super rad.
Super rad. Blowing up. So
yeah, thanks,
guys. I saw Tony's YouTube followers was like climbing by like 1,000 a day or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been sharing content as much as we can as part of the content creation crew. We're just taking everything we can and spitting it back out there and giving everyone credit. So if you've seen your stuff, if you see us and we go like, hey, we shared your stuff, just hit us up. Find us over on the Discord and we'll give you a shout out if you want to come up on the show, even here on Dive Bar. Hit us up. You know how to find us now if you're watching this, and we'll keep our eyes out.
So we're waiting for people to come up. I just had a quick question. Like, why did you choose the name that you did? Because you were talking earlier about voting, and I'm sure you vote. And my brother considers himself like an anarchist, and they consider government illegitimate, so they don't vote. So I was just kind of wondering what's going on with that.
So when I showed up and I started yelling at those guys on the mall the first day, that had originally been the convoy, and they were now calling themselves the 1776 Restoration Movement. So they camped out and literally slept in their cars for like 34 days on the. And I just went back every single day yelling at them. And they just started calling me first Antifa Princess and then Anarchy Princess. Like they just made the name up. And they're all live streamers. So they all have weird, stupid names like handles. And so just to mock them, when I made my stream, because I didn't have a YouTube channel. When I made mine, I called myself Anarchy Princess, and now it just is stuck. And I think it's probably too late to change, but
Yeah, probably.
yeah, but I'm not like burning shit down. And, I vote, and
Yeah.
I have always voted Democrat. So just
Welcome, the real Mama Russo. What's your question?
Just moms will do. Actually, I didn't have a question. You invited us to tell you about other streams if there are some to forward on. And I happen to be modding for and doing like shorts for a group of it's a group of ladies. Some of you might know from YouTube Benny Loco. And then there's Diane Russell, Elizabeth, and occasionally some of us sneak in. But it's at 21st_century_suffragettes on both YouTube and on Twitch. And we're just a bunch of bitches drinking beer, smoking joints, and fucking talking shit. Occasionally we have a guy, Brian, that comes in. He and Diane used to do HBL Radio Nation, but that is now under the 21st Century umbrella because we're just kind of trying to smush everything together. So we're looking for new eyes, man. And I mean, I've been watching Tony for a while now, and I'm just starting to really push, try to get more eyes on the channel because we're actually getting the hang of it now.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
but
yeah, thanks for sharing. That's super rad. Thank you.
Sure. Well, I appreciate you guys having me up here.
I'm going to do this the really cheesy way, but that's what it looks like. Big old purple 21st century.
That's the one. That's it. Yeah.
So
maybe if you want to throw a link in the chat, feel free and see if other people will follow it.
I wasn't sure if I could, but
no worries.
Okay. See, because I've been hanging out in the Discord on and off, but this is actually my first. I'm sorry to say, first night at the dive bar. But I'm here, so
thank you.
And the fact that AP is here tonight, I mean, you're a goddess. Just saying.
Oh, stop. No, we all are.
Cowbell.
More cowbell. More cowbell.
More cowbell.
Everyone needs a cowbell.
That's all I wanted to do was annoy you guys with a little bit of grift.
So.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Hopefully it's in the chat.
All right, thanks, guys.
Who's next? Oh, it looks like Farmley. Hello.
Oh, Farmley's back.
Farmley is back. You are muted, Farmley. Farmley, you're muted.
Yeah, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to ask Anarchy Princess, what do you think Steve Bannon is thinking about all this? If he knows anything about, like, Kamala, like, he's in jail still.
It's true.
I think Steve Bannon's probably, like, sweating. He's probably nervous. Like, they're all like idiots and disgusting people, but some of them, like, they're on different levels. Some of them are slightly more confident than the others. And he might be one of the ones that's like, oh, fuck, like, I'm going to have to get some serious Russian money to survive, I guess. I don't know.
Sweating is from the DT.
Nervous.
I was curious about, like, what you thought about it, because when I first saw your videos, I was floored about how ballsy you are and how brave you are. And I just thank you, because if I lived on the East Coast and in Washington, D.C., I would basically do the same thing every fucking weekend.
I just had, like, honestly, like, I had a really fucked up life. And, like, it just finally, it takes crazy to deal with crazy, right? Like, I don't expect everyone to push it as far as I do. Like, I would love everyone to have signs and, to be able to be involved somehow, no matter what you're doing. You don't have to physically be out there. But, like, I push it mostly because, like, I'm in their head. Like, I grew up around people like them. I have been the victim many times over of people like them. And, like, I had to get through it somehow, and like it was by getting in their head, right? And so now I take it a little bit further than I would recommend to other people, but like I'm a little crazy, and they're very, very crazy. So like I kind of know what's gonna happen, and like I'm just like once I'm not even like trauma, but like once like you
They're
have done
unpredictably
something
predictable.
multiple times, yeah, it just becomes
Yeah.
you're just used to it, right? So I'm just used to these people being crazy. The very first time I did it, like I was explaining when they approached me with their little book, and I wasn't streaming. It was my first day. Like I called the police because like they got really close to me. But now I just, I usually don't call the police. 'Cause I don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. They're not gonna do shit anyway. But like I'm not reactive. I'm not like trying to punch them or screaming. I'm just like, bro, you're already facing charges. Like when that happened with Navarro, like that was it. It was just 2 years of like these psychos attacking me for the same thing. And it was just like, you don't fucking scare me anymore. You're a weak ass, bitch ass, little tiny man. Like, and you need to know that. And yeah. So,
And then
yeah.
I have like a follow-up question, and this circles back to the first thing you mentioned about Laura Loomer and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Which one do you think will win Mushroom Princess?
Honestly, I think it's Marge. I think it's Marge. I think Laura Loomer doesn't have like the backing, the support that Marge has. Like Marge, although she's a deplorable idiot, garbage human being, like she is a member of Congress and an elected official, and probably has a little bit of money, and whatever, her Brian Glenn and whatever fucking other people are behind her. Whereas Loomer is just a fucking wackadoodle conspiracist. Marge is too, but like she has less support. I think like her support is more like QAnon, the freaks that I deal with. Like,
Yeah, she's a total twatsy.
Yeah. I think Marge will win this one, and what I think is going to happen is Trump is going to just like somehow make her disappear. Like he's going to pay her off. He's going to tell Elmo to cancel her on X-Chan, and she's just gonna.
He's got the compromise. I guarantee there's compromise on her, and he has it, and he's gonna be, and he's like, okay, well, you and me are done, and if you decide you want to run your mouth, I got compromise on you, in the same way that he's able to make sure that the 13-year-old that happened to be mentioned inside of the court case with him and Epstein had to deal with the same thing.
I just wanted to say thank you for all of your hard work and bravery.
Well, thank you.
Because fuckery like that makes people pay attention, and I just appreciate ballsy fucking people, and
that's
you're
like
one of
paying
them.
attention.
So
like we need to pay attention. Like this shit is boring, and it is day after day. It is something else, but when I go out there, like I add some humor to it, because no one watches shit unless it's entertaining. Like we don't want to listen to Trump. We don't want to listen to Marge. We don't want to listen to these fucking people lie. But at the same time, you need to be aware of what they're doing, like Project 2025. So I just add a little spice to it so that people can consume it easier.
have a good night, y'all.
Thank you. Yes, you too. Thank you.
Thanks for hanging out, Farmley. You've been out here a couple times, so that's great. I got one more question. People are saying.
Many people are saying.
They caught Ted Cruz repeating some of the Russian propaganda that is directly listed in last week's DOJ charges against Russian propaganda. Will that be the October surprise, or is that going to come out just a little bit early?
Well, today's Friday, so they do the Friday news dump. So did that just come out today, and they just throw it out there so we can all forget it?
I saw a couple different posts today about it, like TikTokers or X channers, whatever you want to call them. I saw a couple things post about it today, and it was word for word. Like he had posted either a video or a post about it, and it's word for word like copy pasta. And you're just like, wait a minute. And it's just you can't.
This is almost like the fake elector certificates. It's like a copy paste.
Yeah.
It was a copy.
Yeah.
And it's just like Trump trying to distance himself from Project 2025. I highly suggest you, if you run into these Congress people, tying each one of them to Project 2025. Start asking them, hey, what part of it do you love most? Because each one of them love all of it. They're writing it.
I mean, that's why he had to say he had concepts of plans, Tony, is because he can't be like, Project 2025, that's my plan. And they'd be like, well, what's your plan for it? Like, basically, anytime he just starts screaming about immigrants, he actually means Project 2025. It's just, it's like...
he's saying Project 25, he's not.
Yeah, but it's Project 25.
You can have plausible deniability. Yeah.
I don't have a problem using all of the hashtags. I will add that hashtag to it just to tie him to it because you know it.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what.
Yeah, he knows. And he has a main guy at his house.
Yeah.
In Mar-a-Lago.
I see these bigger streamers, freaking Midas Touch and everything. He's trying to distance himself from it but then they don't go along with they don't dig into it going, yeah. So he knows exactly what it is. So use it. Just fine.
Yeah,
call it Project 2025. I don't care what you call it. It's Trump's bullshit. It's the Nazi bullshit. Use it.
Yeah. It's a Nazi manifesto. Well, that's why I just yell at everyone because it, not all the media will, I guess, address it. We're just kind of sweeping Project 2025 under the rug. Like some people are talking about it. But it's not on mainstream media, and it's just some really weird fucking shit, and I don't understand why they're not talking about it. So I'm just gonna continue to yell behind people's cameras while they're live, and maybe it'll help. Maybe it won't. I don't know, but I'm not just gonna sit there, just take it and let them own me next year. Fuck that. Fuck that.
Keep going. Thank you.
Mainstream media have become an absolute disgrace.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, you literally go out into harm's way in order to not only mock them in ways that they're not used to, but to honestly just provide some inspiration for the rest of us to do the same.
It really sets them back because I'm a woman. Like we were talking earlier about, Robbie and Rod and them getting assaulted and all of this. And these fuckers don't know how to act when I do it. Like I do still get assaulted, but like when I was talking to Marge's boyfriend, Brian Glenn, eventually I got Uvalde, I brought that up. And so at that point I was emotional and screaming. And his penis was getting hard. If you watch the video and you zoom in, this motherfucker was getting a hard on as I was screaming at him. And so generally, they're out there just talking their shit or putting their hands on the men. But when I do it, it's some weird psychological fucking thing to them. So I think more women should just fucking get out there and fucking yell at them and let them know they're a bunch of beta bitches. And not only do you have to get out there and yell at them, and not only do you have to be a woman, but there's so many levels to the shit. Like what I'm doing, I could not do by myself. I basically have a team behind me. I at least see one person, my ride or die in here is Tifa, and we called him Tifa because everything we do is Antifa, right? So he fucking writes chalk all over the place. Before these motherfuckers go to court for federal court for January 6th, he's out there writing fucking satanic messages and that fucks with them. You think it wouldn't bother you if someone wrote something in chalk, but that fucks their head up so fucking bad. He just makes posters and all kinds of shit. And then there's other people that they, if they have to contact a prosecutor or if they have to make a call to the jail or send emails or post memes or whatever it is, they're providing me the information because Like I'm not like a super smart person, right? Like I'm very like hyper focused on this, but like there's so much information to consume. And when I'm out there, I like to be direct and call you out for your bullshit. Like I can't consume all of that information. So there's people that just like educate me on everything. So it just every little thing that you're doing, like, do not think that it's not important, because it is, because it takes a village, folks. Like, so thank you for any way that you're helping. Whether it's just sharing, not even obviously not just sharing me, but sharing Tony Michael's podcast. Like this guy is so smart. Like I wanted to make sure that I saw the whole show today. Like I had a headache and I was trying to take a nap, so I missed the first half, and I went back and listened, and like, yeah, like we're talking shit and like making fun, but like he is really educating people and encouraging people to get involved. And like, so if you can do that, like whether it's make a TikTok or, send some funny Snapchats to 5 friends or whatever that watch your Snapchat, just do anything you can. Just educate people, please. Because a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm voting for the Democrat. Yeah, Trump is bad. But like, you really need to make them aware of, it's not just Harris, it's not just the president. Like
the Supreme
Virginia,
Court
for
that
instance,
has a lifetime appointment.
yeah, the Supreme Court, your governors, everybody.
When we talk about social medias, take some time in your streams to have everyone put their socials, if they're willing to share it, in the chat. Because as a group, when we follow each other, it helps spread the message. It was one of the things that made Threads blow up the way it did, is when they created it, all the liberals, all the left jumped on it, and everyone's just started tagging, going, yeah, I'm left, and we started all like following each other. You didn't know who these people were, but they were posting the right things of going, I'm on this, I'm in this, I'm on the team, let's go. Just follow me. And when we start going, we're gonna go. And now that Kamala's posting stuff regularly, or we got stuff to post regularly, when you go on Threads, specifically just Threads, is you see everything you want to see now. And at first it was kind of spammy, and you start getting rid of the spam bots that snuck in. But besides that, it's great.
Yeah.
There's so much content on there.
Yeah. Yeah. We definitely have to connect. Like I said, I the first time I showed up, I thought I was the only person that hated that stupid little 1776 restoration movement, because they keep their chat so filtered that it's just supporters. There's, they block all the haters. So like, for other people to be like, oh my God, like I love her, I want to do that. Like I wouldn't have known that there was other people out there. I wouldn't have known about you guys. I wouldn't have known about like any of this information that I'm now consuming. I just wasn't aware of that. So we all have to connect, and we have to get involved, and we have to share. And there's stuff happening. Like there's locals on the ground in Springfield, that are trying to fight the misinformation that's not happening here. And also shout out my friend Amanda Moore. She will be in Springfield tomorrow. You may know her as going undercover with the Nazis. She is an actual investigative journalist, unlike Laura Loomer. And she's very familiar with tenant media, all of those people. And she will be boots on the ground tomorrow, trying to find out what's really going on there. So yeah, just like stuff like that. I wouldn't have known she existed, if other people hadn't have shared her stuff. So get it out there.
Right here in the Discord is a great place for us all to be able to meet and share ideas and fuckery and organize and really do what we need to do as far as putting our brains together and making sure this message goes out so that we win this election. Anarchy Princess, thank you so much for coming out. It's been an absolute blast.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you to the chat. There's so many people, and man, we hope to see you next time. And as always, if you do give a good goddamn about your democracy, make sure you catch the Tony Michaels podcast every single day. And we will see you crazy kids later. Make sure you check out Anarchy Princess on Twitter at Satire AP. Later, skaters.